Hello everyone, I'm Kirsty. Welcome to Heart's Humble Homestead. Today we're going to be making soup, tincture, tea, fertiliser and infused oil with the very abundant nettle. Hope you enjoy. I think most of us can identify the nettle from our unpleasant experiences from being children. They've got a heart-shaped leaf and they have little spiky stings underneath. So if you don't like being stung, I would recommend some decent gloves. I will link these underneath. That's our new girls fighting for their pecking order. So for eating, we just want the top newest ones. There's the little spiky bits under there that causes the sting. It is quite late in the year for nettles, but where they've been cut back, they tend to come back really easily. They're really good like early March and after that, but in the microclimates, and if they get cut back a lot, you can eat them quite a bit throughout the spring and summer and autumn. I've got them for eating. Now I'm going to grab some other bits for the other things we're making, and then the bottom more gritty bits I'm going to use the fertiliser. It's a nice top fresh bit, so I'll add that to there. It's not proven, but medicinally, stinging nettles are good for inflammation for people like arthritis, but do check. On rare occasions some people are allergic, but normally you just get a mild bumpy skin. I will show you, but if you don't like it, if you don't like seeing people stung, look away now. I'm just going to brush the underneath with my hand, and we'll see how it looks in a minute. It's gone a bit red and stingy and tingly. This is it after about 2 minutes. Just bumpy surface and some stinging and irritation. They just go down reasonably quickly. I'm going to start with the soup. So I've got the tops of the nettles, some potatoes, 1 onion, veg stock, garlic, salt and pepper. You can also add cream at the end too, but with us doing the pantry challenge I don't have any of that in. But I did use milk powder on our tomato soup and that worked really well, so I might do that at the end. I've rinsed the nettles, but they will still sting, so keep your gloves on when you're doing that unless you want this. It's been about 5 minutes now, and the painful stinging sensation's gone. It's just redness and the bumps are going down quickly. Just going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. Ghee can be used too, any oil. With the onion. I will be blending this up, so I'm not worried about chunky pieces. And I'm turning that on. I'm just going to put it on low, just to start off the onions. There we go, they're softened now. I'm going to add the potatoes. I've just roughly chopped them, and they are homegrown ones, so I didn't bother peeling them, so I know there's no pesticides or anything on them. It's our homemade extract powder. For most of my things I do have videos or shorts on them, so I will link some below, but if you have a look at my videos and things you should find them. 1 litre of water. You don't have your own stock, you can use the stock cube. And we're just going to let that heat up and let the potatoes soften. I'm also going to add the garlic now. If you're worried about eating nettles, blanching them in hot water will stop the stings. You can eat them raw. You need to make sure they're crushed into a ball, to make sure that all the spiky bits are pressed down, but it's not something I would recommend or something I've tried. I don't like the idea of it, because if that's what it does to my hand, I wouldn't want it done to my tongue. But nettles have so many benefits that I do like eating them like this. It's an alternative to spinach. Very good for iron, even protein, which is quite high for a plant. I'll pop it on the screen there. It's been going about 15 minutes and everything's getting there. I've added half a litre more water, 500ml. I'm going to add another 500. So I like a thick soup, but there's still a bit more softening for the potatoes to do. And I don't want anything sticking, so I have added a bit more. Nettle sting update. Looks a bit rashy now, but I can't feel anything. It's almost gone. I'm going to add a bit of salt and pepper. I don't add salt to our stock powder, so I do add it, but if you're using a stock cube or something, you might want to test it before adding salt, because they've already got quite a bit of salt in. And salt and pepper is to taste anyway. I do like a lot of pepper in soup. That's all softened now. I'm just going to add the nettles. You can add more than this, but I needed to keep leaves for the other things I'm making today. And I'm just going to heat them through just for a minute or so to make sure they're hot and all of the stings are deactivated. And then I'm going to blend it up. It took about 2 minutes, so I'm going to turn it off. And blend it up. And there it is blended. I'm going to go and enjoy this for lunch with some homemade bread, and then I'm going to get started on the other items. A lovely thick soup. It seems like one of them things that I'm sure people will be a bit apprehensive to try, but it's very worth it. And it tastes expensive, if that makes sense, when it's really not. I've just got everything out of the garden. I'm going to start with nettle tea, as I can drink that while I'm making the other things. Gloves on, because I don't want to get stung again. And it's just 1 part nettle to 2 parts water. So I'm just going to gently cover it. That's cold water I've put on. And I'm just going to bring it up to the boil and just let it steep for a bit before straining it out. You can also use dried leaves for this, and you just pour hot water straight in like you would with any other tea leaves. but I don't have any dried at the moment. As with all foraged items and many bought ones, please be careful if you're taking medication or if you are allergic to anything, as they could affect the medication you are taking, such as nettles are meant to lower blood pressure and blood sugars, and they can be good for water infections. But if you are on medication, you need to contact your GP first, or your doctor. Hot water's boiling now, so I'm just going to strain it, because we don't want any bits of nettle in there, but the blanching and boiling process would have stopped the stings anyway. And there is our nettle tea. If you don't like the strong taste it has, you can make it weaker, or you can add some honey to it. But I'm going to have that while we make everything else. The easiest one to make is probably this one, the nettle tincture, as it doesn't require any cooking. It's just a case of popping it in a dark place and leaving it for a few weeks. So I'm just going to add nettle leaves to a jar. It's all good with gloves on, but I don't want stinging. You can cut them if you want, but I ripped these off, so they've already got some tears. And then I'm just going to pop them in a spirit. I'm going to crush them under there, because with us being on the pantry challenge, I don't have any more of this, and I need some for making vanilla extract. So I'm just going to do a small amount for today. So I'll make sure that's under the alcohol. So it doesn't go mouldy or anything. I'm just going to put it in a dark place for around 6 weeks, and then I'm going to strain it and then pop it in this amber jar so the light doesn't affect it anymore. These are just from eBay, they're just amber jars with a dropper, and you can take these between 1ml and 5ml in a bit of water per day. But please check if you're on any medication or you have any reactions to anything before taking anything like this, any herbal remedy. Now we're going to make Nettle infused olive oil. You can use any oil for this. It is good for hair care and skin care. The main thing I use it for is a balm that I mix with melted beeswax. and that's good for stings, even though this does sting as a live plant. It is really good for stings as a balm. So there's two ways of doing this, so I'll do them both today. So like the tincture, we're just going to pop some in a jar. And cover with oil. But this one goes on a sunny windowsill for a few weeks and then strained and then stored like the other one, like the tinctures. The other way is by heating the oil up if you need it to use it sooner. Just some nettles in the pan, pop in some oil, and we're just going to pop it on the low heat. This just infuses it a little bit quicker in case you need it right away. And once that's heated, I'm just going to allow it to cool and infuse, and then strain it into the infusing bottle. The nettle infused oil is mostly cooled down now, so I'm just going to pour it into the bottle. And that's ready to be used in balms and soaps for your hair and things like that. That's ready to use now. The last one I'm going to make is a fertiliser. So I'm just going to add the last of the nettles that I collected this morning in here. And then just use the back of our wooden spoon just to crunch them up a bit, bruise them to let all the goodness out. and then cover with water. Rainwater is ideal. And if you want to, you can put a weight or a stone or something in to keep them down, and then just give them a little stir a few times a week, just when you remember. And then after about a month, it will be great on a 1 part fertiliser, 10 parts water, and they are great on things like brassicas and other heavy feeding plants. They're also good at stopping aphids and mites and things going on your plants. This will stink, so maybe keep it in the greenhouse or something. So today, with nettles and a few other ingredients, we've made oil, fertiliser, tea, tincture and soup. I hope you have enjoyed this, everybody. Please let me know down below if it's something you like, or if you've tried it, or if you're going to try it after seeing this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.